What's going on, New Fighting Order fans? This is your co-CEO of the New Fighting Order brand coming at you with another exciting episode of Lunchtime TV. Now, this is just, on the heels of our podcast last night. Those of you who haven't tuned in to check it out, it's the video that predates this. Now, we had a couple audio issues, but they were mitigated as the podcast went along. So we hit some really good topics on that one. So please check that out with the New Fighting Order staff, uh, other co-CEO Nelson, Shinwar, Brother Nuke, and On Your Knees. So anytime you want to be a part of this, just send us your information and we can have you guys on there. I also want to send a shout out to Tough Nerd Toys LLC. Make sure you check out Danae's website for your old school Master of the Universe, G.I. Joe action figurines. He goes to all the toy fairs and all that good stuff. So a lot of interesting things on his site. So please check him out. Also, wanted to shout out to Alpha Omega Sin, Review Tech USA, El Bambi, Angry Joe, and all these other guys doing wonderful things for fighting games, the video game industry as a whole. It's because of people like us who give the exposure, whether it's appreciated or not, that keeps things afloat. We're a very important part of the industry, even though we're like on the outside of the official lines. So I just wanted to get into a topic that hit me while I was at work in the office a couple of rooms down. And something in terms of the video game industry, it has changed a lot, a whole lot. And this is from someone who got his very first Nintendo with Mike Tyson's Punch Out and the Super Mario Duck Hunt combo cartridge. I've been in the gaming scene for a long time, and I've seen a lot of changes, and now I'm beginning to see a lot of what Tough Nerd Toys, aka Danae, was talking about. And I actually had a couple notes here because they're very valid, and I'm hoping I get a good response with this, because first thing, the video game industry has lost a lot of the initial punch that excitement, that pulse, that surge of excitement that it once had for me. I believe this is something that maybe us older gamers are experiencing, because I believe the innovation for video games has hit a ceiling, a plateau. Now, that can be problematic, because it just seems that if the games are being like regurgitated over and over, for good example, first person shooters, since Quake, because for me, my first person shooter technically was Doom, playing it on the little floppy disk in the computers at my school back in the day. And Doom, you couldn't look up and down. You know what I mean? Then when Quake and Quake Arena and all that started popping up, where you actually had free reign to rotate your perspective, your point of view, that was a step forward. And then everything else thereafter is like the first person shooters naturally started looking better, adding different features. Like, some franchises would have sliding, other franchises would have something where, you can run, and just little bells and whistles to their respective brands. Now, I feel that like Call of Duty is like one of the main culprits. It's just every year you have Activision or in Infinity War, going back and forth every year, alternating. And it's almost as if it feels like the same game is being put out with different coats, different layers, motion blur to make it look better. But how is the experience evolving? Now, it's just, to me, the industry is actually, it might have progressed too fast, where it got to a point where even with the new consoles coming out, how are the first person shooters going to be better? Other games, how are hack and slash platformers, how are they breaking that invisible ceiling in evolution? And it's almost as I saw a video that really started sparking these thoughts in my head, where they're saying with the graphics of the newer systems in the Xbox One and the PS4, they not much different. I mean, yeah, they're gonna look a lot shinier and a lot more textures and all that, but the games are, what is it gonna, it's frustrating because it's almost as if I feel bad for Microsoft to a degree, and this is just a completely unbiased statement. So I just want to make sure that you guys understand. I see into a degree why they keep trying to push the Kinect, because if they're trying to get you into the game, it changes how you play them. That's probably why I was very receptive to the Kinect when it first came out, because that's like, cool. Nintendo did a good thing with the Wii in that, that was another breakthrough. But, a lot of what those peripherals, those add-ons or gimmicks, as they are somewhat defined as, arcades were doing them. You had like your light shooters like House of the Dead, or, you had like your VR simulating, sitting in a car and driving with, Rumble and all that stuff. I mean, some of those experiences, the Kinect in the Wii kind of simplified them and brought them to the home, which was good. But it's just now, what's next? So that's just one thing that, I was wondering, and I'm just hoping that if you other YouTube vloggers want to contribute to this, it's a concern of mine, because I wonder 10 years from now, when the new consoles have reached their end, what will the following generation have to offer? There better be some like Minority Report where you can actually do like air touching of like crap like Raiden was doing in Metal Gear Rising when he was fighting Metal Gear Exodus. I mean, it's just, where do we go from here? So On Your Knees last night made some good points with these glasses that John Carmack is now involved with. I mean, maybe that's the next step with gaming, or is the gaming industry in a position where, hey, we might fall flat, and could the industry fall? That's just, I love the industry. I love like games, and it's just kind of scary to think that they might have blown their wad on a couple of things, just with concepts. So, like, literally right now, I feel like this. I'm wondering why, what's going on, and true gamers, and I'm not disrespecting the 09ers or anything, but gamers from my generation are concerned. And, that's one topic I want to hit on. Now, I'm also, another thing in my notes, the cost of games, the production of games. I mean, again, the same video, I'm actually going to put a link to it that should get the gears turning in your head, where the cost of games, they're too high. I'm sorry, they're too high. And I believe where all these graphic innovations, and we can make wrinkles on the face, or we can make your character cry, and it can have like 8 million polygons on the tear how is that improving the gameplay experience, except for something visual? I think something that the developers need to remember, graphics, yes, that's always good to have better graphics. However, in focusing on graphics, the games have become more movie-like, and they strayed away from what the core element of what makes a gamer a gamer. They want to get something in their hands and play it. If they wanted a movie, and they can go to the movie theater, but they need to find that proper balance to make sure that they're not straying too far away from what made the industry great. So, all these studios are pumping so much money into these games to make them look better, thus raising the price on the consumer, but it doesn't change the experience. So it's just something where I started finding myself playing more indie games. And one game that I'm going to recommend you guys check out is One Finger Death Punch, which is on Xbox Live Marketplace. It's under Community Games. Brother Noop and I were actually checking it out. And a game that cost me $1 by Silver Dollar Games. I found myself enjoying that more than a Gears of War. Believe it or not. It's just, sometimes it's not about the graphics. Oftentimes it's not about the graphics. And it's just, I would just like the developers to remember that it's about the games. And with the new hardware in the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, I hope somewhere along the line they'll remember that, hey, you know what? It's about the games. You make good games, people will buy them. And if you're making interactive movies and so on and so forth, I mean, like Asura's Wrath was an exception to me. I mean, it was a great interactive anime, but when you played the game, it was an experience. A game like that I hadn't played before. And I mean, I'm pretty sure you had others, but it was just new. We need innovation, fresh ideas, and they have to take risks like they used to do back in the Sega Saturn days. So I guess with the companies trying to play it too safe, it's actually killing the gaming industry. So that's just something that I'm holding near and dear to my heart. And I don't want to keep feeling like this baby over here, but it's just something that we need to really take a look at. Cost of games are too high. I mean, and it's just the economy as a whole. The cost of things are going up, but the quality of the product's not going up. So that's just one thing. You developers, be it be EA, Capcom, Electronic, well, I said EA already, but Activision and all you other guys out there, really, 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 I know it's about a business, and keep growing your business by making better decisions, because where I'm working now, they're making all these cost cutting and doing all kinds of nonsense, and it's just not really helping them out much. So yes, companies have to stay afloat. They have to make decisions to accommodate that. But if you're sitting there pumping all this money to make something look good, hey, sometimes try to scale back on the graphics a bit. You know what I mean? Focus on content and put it out there so that the experience is it's all about the experience. I can say, hey, I played this game, and word of mouth travels better than any advertisement out there. I want to go back to those days, but I know the gaming industry has mutated into something where people are extremely greedy, and it's probably going to make some unwelcome, unwanted changes. And I don't know if it keeps going down this route, if I'll even be dealing with the gaming industry. I'll probably just focus on my motorcycle hobby, but on a final note, the death of hype and nostalgia, I guess for me, it all boils down into everything else I was saying. I'm not as excited for the newer stuff. I mean, yeah, the Xbox One is coming out, but it wasn't like that big, like, oh, the Xbox 360 is coming out. Oh, wow, this PS3 with the cell architecture. Or even going further back, when the Super Nintendo came out, oh my God, I mean, like, I felt like goosebumps, or I felt like my little sister with this One Direction obsession she has. I love you, Jackie. But yeah, it's just that excitement I mean, it's just not there anymore. It's just I don't know. Maybe at my age, I'm looking at the corporate level people making these decisions, and they're just killing it. They're killing it. So covered all my notes here, but I just wanted to take a more serious note with the broadcast. So please let me know what you guys think. I would like to have a podcast speaking on these topics right here. Because I want to know what Demizzle, Brother Noop, Shinwar, Nelson, on your knees, you fans. If you fans want to talk about these topics, I mean, we'll more than be welcome to have you on an emergency podcast where it's not on a Thursday, but if we have enough people, we'll film it right then and there. I would like El Bambi on this one, Black Dragon, Eugene. I mean, it concerns me because the bottom line is ask yourself what type of experience would you want in 10 years if you're still gaming? That's all I got for you. See you next time on a New Fighting Order podcast. Peace.